They say what you see on social media is never the full picture. I learned that lesson the hard way when I discovered my wife was living an entire secret life online, complete with 50,000 followers who thought she was single and childless. My name is Chris. I'm 31 years old, and this is the story of how Instagram destroyed my marriage. Everything seemed normal until a Tuesday afternoon when my coworker Mark sent me a screenshot. Just a screenshot with a message. "Dude, is this your wife?" I opened it. Tinder profile. A woman who looked exactly like Sarah. Same face, same hair, but the photos were different from any I'd seen. More revealing. More flirtatious. The bio said, Sarah, 29, single, no kids, yoga instructor. Single, looking for fun and adventure. It had to be a mistake. Maybe someone was catfishing using Sarah's photos. That had to be it. There was no way my wife of 7 years, the mother of my children, would be on Tinder claiming to be single. I called Mark back. "Where did you find this?" "Man, I'm sorry." My buddy showed it to me. "He matched with her last week. They've been messaging." "They've been messaging?" My voice came out strangled. "What did she say?" "I don't know all the details, but..." "Chris, I think you need to look into this. I'm really sorry, man." After Mark hung up, I sat there trying to process it. Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it was just someone who looked like her. But the more I looked at that profile, the more certain I became. That was Sarah. Those were her tattoos, her jewelry, her smile. What I found was worse than I'd imagined. She had a second Instagram account. Not the normal one with 3,000 followers where she posted family photos and yoga content. This was different. The username was Solo Sarah Yogi, and it had 52,000 followers. I scrolled through the account in disbelief. It was Sarah, but a version of Sarah I didn't recognize. Every photo was carefully posed, professionally edited. Yoga poses in expensive athleisure. Photos at trendy restaurants and bars. Beach vacation pictures I'd never seen. And captions that told a completely different story than our actual life. Living my best single life. No commitments, no drama, just vibes. Free spirit seeking adventure. There were no photos of me. No mention of being married. No pictures of our kids. It was like we didn't exist. I kept scrolling, feeling sicker with each post. The comments were full of men hitting on her. And she responded to them. Flirty replies. Suggestive emojis. Some exchanges that made it clear she was meeting up with these guys. I found her direct messages next. Hundreds of conversations with different men. Making plans to meet for drinks. Trading phone numbers. Some messages were explicitly sexual. Photos that she definitely didn't send to me. One conversation stood out. A guy named Brad she'd been talking to for 3 months. They'd met up multiple times. He called her his girlfriend. She called him babe. I felt like I was going to throw up. This wasn't just a dating profile. This was an entire alternate life. A life where she was single, childless, and dating multiple men while I stayed home with our kids thinking she was teaching yoga classes. I checked her schedule. Every evening class was suspicious now. Every yoga workshop she attended. Were any of them real? Or were they all cover stories for meeting these men? I took screenshots of everything. Hundreds of them. Evidence that couldn't be denied or explained away. And then I closed the laptop and lay there in bed next to my wife, this stranger who I thought I knew, and tried to figure out what to do. The next morning, I acted normal, made breakfast, got the kids ready. Sarah kissed me goodbye and said she had classes all day. I watched her leave and wondered which man she was really meeting. She followed me back within an hour. I waited a day, then sent her a DM. "Hey, love your content. Are you in the city? Would love to connect over coffee sometime." She responded in 20 minutes. "Hey, thanks for the follow. Yes, I'm local. Coffee sounds great. When works for you?" I couldn't believe how easy it was, how casual she was about meeting a random stranger from Instagram. How many times had she done this? We arranged to meet at a coffee shop downtown on Thursday afternoon. She suggested 2 p.m., said she had a break between clients. I knew she didn't have any yoga classes scheduled for Thursday. She'd told me she was going to a wholesale supplier to buy new yoga mats. She walked in at exactly 2 p.m., dressed up more than usual, hair done perfectly, the outfit from one of her Instagram photos. She looked around the coffee shop, scanning for her date. I stood up and walked toward her. She smiled at me, that flirty Instagram smile, still not recognizing me. Not until I was right in front of her and took off my sunglasses. People in the coffee shop were starting to stare. Sarah grabbed my arm. "We need to talk. Not here. Outside." "No," I said loud enough that people could definitely hear. "I think here is perfect. Very public. Lots of witnesses." "I don't understand." I pulled out my phone. "I don't understand this Tinder profile where you're single with no kids. I don't understand this Instagram account with 50,000 followers where you pretend I don't exist. I don't understand the hundreds of messages to other men. Help me understand, Sarah. Please." She was crying now, mascara running. "It's not what it looks like. I can explain." "Then explain. Explain how my wife of 7 years, the mother of my children, has been living a double life on social media. Explain the dates, the messages, the lies, and you started dating other men while I stayed home with our kids." "I never actually slept with any of them," she said quickly. "It was just coffee, just talking, just feeling like someone saw me as more than just a mom." "Never slept with them?" I opened her DMs on my phone, showed her the explicit messages. "What about Brad, the guy you call babe? The one who calls you his girlfriend?" She looked at the screen and fresh tears started. "Chris, I'm so sorry. I got caught up in this fantasy. It started small, and then it became this whole thing, and I didn't know how to stop. How about starting with being honest?" I was shaking now, anger and hurt mixing together. "How about telling your husband that you're unhappy instead of creating an elaborate secret life online?" "I was scared," she whispered. "Scared you'd judge me. Scared I'd lose everything." "Well, congratulations," I said. "You lost it anyway." I walked out of that coffee shop and didn't look back. Let her explain, to all those people staring, why her husband just confronted her about her secret Instagram life. I went back home and started packing her things. She came home an hour later, still crying, makeup smeared. "Chris, please, we can work through this. Therapy, counseling, I'll delete everything. I'll be completely transparent." "You had 7 years to be transparent," I said. "You chose to lie instead. Every single day for how long? Months? Years?" "About a year," she admitted. "Instagram account has been active for a year. The Tinder for 6 months." A year? She'd been lying to my face every single day for a year. "I want a divorce," I said. "I want you out of this house. And I want full custody of the kids because I'm not leaving them with someone who lies this easily." "You can't take my kids from me. You took yourself away from them," I shouted. "Every time you pretended to have a yoga class so you could meet some guy from Instagram, you chose them over your own children. Every lie you told was a choice to prioritize strangers on the internet over your family." She broke down completely then. "Please don't take my babies. I'll do anything. I'll change. I promise I'll change." "I don't believe your promises anymore. I don't believe anything you say." The divorce was ugly. Sarah tried to claim I was overreacting, that it was just social media, that nothing physical happened with most of the guys. Her lawyer argued that maintaining an Instagram account wasn't grounds for divorce. So I showed the judge everything. The Tinder profile, the messages, the dates she went on while lying about teaching yoga, the explicit photos she sent to other men, the year of systematic deception. The judge was not sympathetic to her case. I got primary custody. Sarah gets the kids every other weekend, and 1 evening a week. She had to delete all her social media accounts as part of the custody agreement. No more solo Sarah Yogi. No more pretending to be single. The hardest part was explaining it to Emma. She's only 5, but she's smart. She knew something was wrong when mommy moved out. I tried to keep it age appropriate. Sometimes adults make mistakes. Mommy made some choices that hurt our family, but we both still love you very much. I don't know if she really understood. How do you explain to a 5-year-old that her mother was more interested in Instagram followers than being present for her family? The tech community found out about it. Sarah's fitness influencer career tanked when word got out that she'd been lying about being single and childless. Turns out, a lot of her followers were only interested because they thought she was available. When they found out she'd been married with kids the whole time, many of them felt deceived too. She lost most of her followers, lost sponsorships. Her carefully curated online persona collapsed when reality caught up with it. I wish I could say I felt vindicated, but mostly I just felt sad. Sad that the woman I'd loved since high school had valued likes and comments more than our marriage. Sad that my kids would grow up in a broken home. Sad that we'd become just another divorce statistic. Working in IT, I'd always known social media was curated, that people present their best selves online, that what you see isn't always reality. But I never thought my own wife would be living a complete fantasy life right under my nose. The warning signs were there, I realize now. The phone she guarded constantly. The yoga classes that seemed to run later and later. The new clothes that appeared in her closet, the way she'd pull away when I tried to see what she was looking at on her phone. I'd noticed all of it but explained it away. Told myself I was being paranoid. Told myself to trust my wife. That trust nearly destroyed me. I started dating again about 6 months after the divorce. It's strange, being back in the dating world at 31 with 2 young kids. Most people my age are just starting to think about settling down. I'm already divorced with full custody. I'm very careful about social media now. I check any woman's online presence thoroughly, before even going on a first date. It's made me cynical, maybe. But I can't help it. I know how easy it is to fake an entire identity online. The kids are adjusting. Emma asks why mommy doesn't live with us anymore. I tell her that sometimes people need to live in different houses. But that doesn't mean they love her any less. I don't think she really buys it, but what else can I say? Jake is too young to really understand. He just knows mommy isn't here as much. It breaks my heart every time he asks for her at bedtime. Sarah tried to rebuild her social media presence a few times. Created new accounts with different names. But word always got out. The internet has a long memory. People would recognize her and call her out in the comments. Eventually, she gave up on being an influencer. She works at a regular yoga studio now, teaching actual classes to actual students. No Instagram following. No online persona. Just reality. We're civil when we exchange the kids. We have to be. For their sake. But there's nothing left between us. That trust, once broken so completely, can't be repaired. At least not for me. Sometimes I look at old photos from before I found out. Pictures of us looking happy. Family photos where we're all smiling. And I wonder how much of it was real. Was she thinking about her Instagram followers when I took that picture? Was she mentally composing captions for her secret account during our family dinners? I'll never know. And maybe that's the worst part, not knowing how long I was living with a stranger who just happened to look like my wife. The tech industry talks a lot about authenticity online, about being your real self on social media. But Sarah's story proves how easy it is to be whoever you want online, to curate a version of yourself that bears no resemblance to reality, to build a following based on lies. Her 50,000 followers thought they knew her. They saw her yoga poses and her inspirational quotes and her carefully filtered photos. They thought she was this free-spirited, adventurous, single woman living her best life. They didn't know about the husband at home with 2 kids. They didn't know about the lies she told every day. They didn't know that the free spirit was actually a wife and mother who chose online validation over her actual family. I think about those followers sometimes. How many of them had felt a connection to Solosari Yogi? How many had been inspired by her posts? How many had thought, that's the life I want? What were they really seeing? A fantasy. A carefully constructed lie. A woman so desperate for external validation that she erased her own family from existence. If there's a lesson here, it's that social media is a highlight reel. A curated selection of moments designed to present a specific image. It's not real life. Real life is messier. Real life includes kids who won't sleep, and arguments about whose turn it is to do dishes, and days where you don't shower because you're too exhausted. Real life doesn't get 50,000 likes. But it's real. And ultimately, that has to matter more. I'm teaching my kids about social media as they grow up, teaching them that what you see online isn't the full story. That people can present any version of themselves they want, that likes and followers don't equal real connection or happiness. I hope they learn it better than their mother did. As for me, I'm rebuilding, focusing on my career, on being a good father, on healing from the betrayal. I'm dating someone new now. Her name is Michelle. She's a teacher, divorced like me, with 1 kid of her own. We're taking it slow. She barely uses social media. Her Instagram has maybe 200 followers, and she posts once a month, if that. Mostly pictures of her daughter or her dog. No carefully curated aesthetic. No persona. Just real life. It's refreshing. Sarah reached out recently, asked if we could talk. Said she's been in therapy, working on herself, understanding why she needed that external validation so badly. She apologized again. Said she understands if I never forgive her. I told her I appreciate the apology, but forgiveness isn't something I'm ready for yet. Maybe someday. Maybe never. Time will tell. What I do know is that I don't want to be bitter. I don't want my kids growing up with a father who's angry and resentful. So I'm working on letting go. Not forgiving, but letting go. Moving forward instead of staying stuck in the hurt. It's harder than it sounds. Some days I'm angry all over again. Angry that she threw away our family for likes and comments. Angry that she was willing to risk everything for the dopamine hit of strangers. Attention. Angry that my kids have to grow up in separate houses because their mother couldn't be satisfied with the real life she had. But other days, I'm just grateful I found out when I did. Grateful that Mark showed me that Tinder profile. Grateful that I had the skills to investigate and find the truth. Grateful that I got out before wasting more years with someone who was living a lie. The social media landscape has changed how we view relationships, how we present ourselves, how we seek validation. Sarah's story is extreme, but it's not unique. I've heard similar stories since then. People living double lives online, marriages destroyed by secret Instagram accounts or dating app profiles. We're all so connected now, yet somehow more isolated than ever, chasing likes instead of genuine human connection, building follower counts instead of actual relationships, curating perfect images instead of embracing imperfect realities. Sarah got caught up in that trap, and she destroyed our family in the process. I'm 31 years old, divorced, single father of two, IRT specialist, who got catfished by his own wife. It's not the life story I imagined for myself, but I'm making peace with it, building a new life. One based on honesty and reality, instead of filters and lies. Sarah can keep her Instagram fantasies. I'll take real life any day, is smart. Even if real life doesn't get 50,000 likes.